Hello, Jill here. Come on in. I want to show you what I'm working on, and I want to show you what really happens behind the scenes here when I have stuff in the works. So let's get a cup of coffee. And as you know, these are my special mugs. And because I was having a good morning, I picked up this one. These are Laurel Birch mugs, and they all have different names. And I decided this morning is Morning at the Oasis. So it's far from an oasis here. So good, my favorite coffee. Yeah, it's far from an oasis. It's cold, 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 and getting colder by the day, but that's okay because we're staying inside and we're warming up, and I have some things to show you. So I was going to wait a little bit before I showed you this, and I was going to have some of them finished, which I don't, but I thought, well, why not show you how my my desk looks when I'm working on things. So I'll take you for a quick little, well, not quick, but I'll kind of pan you out and you can see my desk. Yikes. Yikes. Let me get it out of here. So I'll kind of show you my desk when I'm, oh, these are some Japanese fabrics I'm going to do some things with. I finally treated myself to some of those. But this is what my desk looks like when I'm really I'm shopping in my craft room, I'm pulling things out. This happens to be a project where I'm using ribbon, fabric, and paper. So I got a little bit of everything out here. I have a journal I'm working on over there, so some of that stuff is out. So as you can see, I'm really busy, but today I want to focus on, let me get you back up in the, get you back up into the camera holder there. Okay. But today, I kind of skipped ahead into the holiday spirit. I know a lot of crafters have started and doing a few little things, and as it goes along, I start to get the fever. So, I'm making I'll show you what I'm making. I'm going to make, I'll show you what I'm making. I'm going to make. Each year I make, for the last couple of years, I make Christmas cards, and I like to have some stitching on them. As you can see, I'm going to have some stitching on these. And I saw a video by Bluebell Hill Crafts, and she made these cute little Christmas cards. And I thought, you know what? She used a sewing machine. Which I'm not going to use a sewing machine, but I'll show you how I did them. Let me just dive in and show you. So I'm going to go through my piles and tell you what they're for. These are all little pre-made. Okay, first you need a little template circle. Now, my cards are going to be somewhere in the area of 4x6, and I don't think that's a 4x6. Well, no, this is 5x6, so it's a little wide, but you get the idea. So I wanted the circle to fill the main spot of the card. And then, of course, if you're making your cards, you have to have envelopes that fit. So I generally make my cards, and I will, let me show you. I will print my cards out. I will print whatever on the front. I will print my message on the inside, and then I always put a little Everland by Jill texty thing on the back so people know that I made them by hand. So you'll need those. You'll need envelopes to match your cards, and then you could set those aside once you have your size. So once I had my size 4x6, I actually went and thought, I think I need a 3-inch circle. So here we go. Oops, let's get it the right way, Jill. Yeah, this is just 3 inches. So you can use anything to make your circle. I have this little thing of hand cream here. You could use that if that was big enough for your card. You could use a jar. You could use a bottle, and you know, I have a jar here with some things in it. If I thought that was going to be big enough, I could use that. I could use the lid of that jar. I could use a cup, but of course my cups are too big for my card. I have to have some white space around it. So you'll need one of those for your template. Okay, so next I needed some backing fabric. I wanted backing fabric on my pieces, so I made, well, let's see how big these are. I think these are 4x4 squares, which allowed me enough on the edge, but I needed to be able to fit. Let me just pull one of these off and set those aside. So you need as many of those as cards you're going to make. You'll need one of these. Yeah, and this was plenty to, I could have probably made them a little smaller. I could have made them 3.5 by 3.5, but it depends on the size that you're going to be making, okay? So if you want backing fabric, this is just a really light, cottony, easy to stitch through, because I'm going to do all hand stitching fabric. And I chose white. You know, it's not going to show when you're done, so it doesn't really matter, but let's put that over there. So now we have those. And then I wanted some, this is not very thick wadding, but it's a stiff kind of wadding. You can see it pops back up. It's not floppy. And that was perfect for what I want, which is to give this little circle thing I'm making a little bit of a rise off the, you know, raise it above the paper envelope. You'll see. It doesn't really get puffy because we're going to stitch on it, and I stitch a lot, so it does flatten, but that makes it more of a reason why I wanted to put these in there, because I didn't want them totally flat. Okay, so that's like the basic. No, let me keep going. And you'll need as many of these as you're going to make cards. So I have a lot. This is just a small handful of them. All I did was take my template, lay it down on my batting, do circles around with a pen or whatever writing tool you have, and then I cut them out. So I have a lot of these. This is just a few, but they're sitting under something somewhere on my desk. So I have those. Now, I'm going to make 3 different kinds of these little things. I'm going to make some with ribbon, some with fabric, and some with paper. So I will show you what they're going to look like. Let me see here. I don't have these finished because I came up with another idea while I was working on these. And you know how it is. You start working on it and then you come up with another idea and another idea and another idea. So let me show you these first. I wanted to do different types of things. I wanted to do ribbon weaving. So, oops, put that one down. So I did ribbon weaving with these. So I gathered up several, I have a lot of Christmas ribbon. I have a lot of plaids, a lot of taupe color. I have red, blue, green. I have so many colors, but always with a pattern. And I was kind of liking the plaid with these little taupe. And this one has red and green little dots. I just thought that was so sweet. And this taupe has little snowflakes on it. And then I put red satin ribbon, real thin satin ribbon. So I sat, and first of all, I wove the ribbon. And I guess I should show you a little bit of that, but I'll just do a real brief little something here. Let's see if I can. So I laid my ribbons all down, and I laid them in the order I wanted them. Maybe a plaid, and then something like that. And then I laid maybe, let's put one of these little taupe colored ones in. Oh, look how cute. Okay. So I laid those together until they were at least 3 by 3, right? Because that's how big my circle was going to be. So if we go back to my little template, which I'll probably reference frequently, you want your ribbon to be as wide and as tall as your circle. So you can see here that wasn't tall enough yet, so I needed to add probably a good 2 more pieces of ribbon that was kind of thick onto here, or 3, it didn't matter. Okay, so then you take your opposite ribbons that are going to go this way, and you weave them over, under, over, under. So if we were using this, we would weave it under this one, over this one, and under that one, and there you have one little piece. So what I did, I made I put ribbon together and I wove it in a size that was enough to make 3 of these. And then I had another group of ribbon that I wove, and again, I could make 3 out of that. So it helped me make multiple at a time. But if you're not mass making, you don't have to worry about that. Make them one at a time. So you need whatever different kinds of ribbon that you like. You don't have to make it holiday. You could make it multicolored. If your Christmas isn't traditional red and green, and these are kind of traditional colors and ribbons, you can make it whatever you have, and make it holly jolly colors. Those would be really cute. Okay, so those are my ribbon ones, and we'll come back to them because I'm not done with talking about them yet. And then I wanted to do fabric ones. So you can see here, well, I can show you this. And this is what prompted me to video today, because I sat last night and I was making these, and I thought, oh, I should show them what it looks like before and then after. So you can see here's my backing fabric. Here's my little batting, my stiff batting. Let me pull that thread off of there. And then fabrics. And all I did was take some of my many. This is a great way to use up scraps, let me tell you. Oh my gosh. Because here's some of my scraps. I was making another project, and I had a bunch of these kind of traditional. Oh, here's another ribbon one. Let's put it over there, because I was making something else, and I had all these little pieces left, and I thought, you know, I want to use those up. Let's use them up. So I just started laying down on top of the batting, right? So let's review. We have the backing, the batting, and then just pieces of little fabric all covering up. Oops, I guess I wanted that one there. We'll have to see and put that back. And use enough pieces. You could cover it with a single piece. That would look pretty too. Lots of options. I mean, the options, oh my goodness. Just as I started, I kept going, oh, I could do this. You know, I could do that. 100 things crossed my mind. And I had to pare back all the 100 things into a few. So this is what I did with the fabric. So you can see I wasn't real particular, although I wanted some light and some dark on each one. So let's take a look at this one. Here's my backing. Now this one had a couple of bigger pieces, so when I cut this, it will probably have, I'll probably have some scraps left from this one. Okay, so I just pin them on. Okay, then I invisible stitched them down. So you can feel where the batting is underneath, and you can invisible stitch, which is a very tiny, tiny back stitch with a bigger, and that's on the top of your fabric. Longer part of your stitch is behind and come out. So I back stitch and I invisible stitch just enough to hold the fabric down, and I can remove these pins because I have a lot of pieces of fabric, and you know. So once you get that put on there and you've invisible stitched your fabric or your ribbon, paper you can glue, but since I'm showing you fabric, we'll talk about that. And it's all invisible stitched. Then you can take your pieces and you can cut them out. So now something that looked like this, such a mess, right? Look how cute it looks. And you can, when I get done stitching this on here, let me tell you, you can turn it backwards or forwards, it doesn't matter. You can use your template on the back, draw your circle again, and then just cut along that. Or you can feel this fabric, you can feel the batting, and you can just cut around it, which is what I did. And I tried to get them round. Of course, you know, I think a circle's are really, besides a straight line that's hard to draw, a circle is hard to cut. So they look like this. So then what did I do with them? And here's some more I'm putting together. I'll move these out of the way. And you can see I'm using some, I'm going to use some maybe not traditional, non-traditional Christmas fabrics with a little bit of glitter on them. And sometimes I match the fabric to the person who's getting the card. I mean, that's a little bit over the top, Jill. But, you know, I go, oh, this person likes whatever. And, you know, so you make it kind of like for them. So then what do I do? Well, then I do running stitch. Let me show you this one. Well, no, actually first I do overcast stitch. And I do that all around the edge, and that will make these edges, and I did them on these as well, so it makes the edges nice. And see how flat, can you see how flat that got, even with the batting in there? So I overcast all the way around, and then I did, and this one is not finished yet, this is part way done, I did running stitch. I love doing running stitch, and look at the texture it adds to that little piece. Can you see that? Can you see? It's so cute. It holds all the fabrics down, it adds a little texture, and you can see I did all my running stitch. I'll call it horizontally for now, although I don't know if this is the top of the circle that I'll put on the card, or if I'll turn it that way. I don't know, or that way. But then I started, so I did all my running stitch horizontally, and now I'm going back and I'm putting it, so I'm slow stitching vertically, and that makes a nice little pattern on your little piece. So I'm doing that. And then this morning, I was thinking, well, these are really cute. What could I do to, so you could see, let me move some of this too out of the way. These pieces all over. That's how my desk gets so messy. You will need some thread. I'm using this is Gutenberg 50 cotton 50 number 50. So it's very thin, and that's what I use to invisible stitch the fabric down. So lots of stitching goes into these, which made me really happy. I thought they were so cute. Okay, so now we have this. Well, let's do this. We have this, number 1. We have this, number 2. Then we put the fabric on them. Number 3. Okay, 1, 2, 3. And then we invisible stitch, cut it out. Do your stitching on it, and you don't have to. If you like this look after you put it on like this, and you whip stitch around the edge, you don't have to put additional running stitch on there, or fancy stitch, whatever you like. You can see I also did running stitch on these little ribbon ones, and I did some, and this one I did some in red, and then the rest in a nice cream color. I don't know, white was really white on these, and I didn't. So you go from this, and then we go to this. Let's use the little red one, because I think I love that red ribbon in there. I might have to make another one of those. Okay, so now we have that. Okay, does that make sense? I hope you can follow along. So this morning I thought I'm going to come back in. I couldn't wait to stitch, and I thought, oh, I'll show everyone what I'm doing. And so then I had this brainstorm, and I thought, I want to add a little lace or something lacy to these, and I'll see how it goes. I'll see what I have and how it goes. So I had a piece of this cut work fabric, that lace. Well, I guess cut work is cut work and lace is lace. And I thought, do I have anything? Is there anything on here I could use for snowflakes. And I thought, yeah, I think there's some pieces on here I could use for snowflakes. For example, this little circle. Wouldn't that be a cute snowflake? Wouldn't that be a cute snowflake? So let me show you what they look like when you cut them out. So they look like this. How cute is that? And I'm going to put snowflakes on these little ornaments. Because that's what they are when you get them on the card. This one isn't finished yet, but you can imagine what it's going to look like. So I'm going to put snowflakes on them, so I'm going to have to go back and stitch those. But I think what I'll do is cut out a bunch of snowflakes. I have, this is another color fabric I'm going to be using over there. And I have this absolutely beautiful piece. I'm going to bring it in, and it's going to be big, but I'll show you. I love sharing this stuff with you. So this is a beautiful piece. It's a beautiful tablecloth. But I pulled it out because I think this lovely lady has some pieces that could be used for, yes, look at that. Okay, let me show you this. I think this lovely lady has some pieces that would be beautiful snowflakes, and it would have a crocheted effect on there. Let me see if that one's close enough to the edge. I'll actually cut that out and show you. Oh, here's one down here. Perfect. Let me cut this out and I'll show you. And we can always make it smaller if we had to, but if we have to. I'm just very carefully cutting around. I don't worry about cutting these up. I think, you know, if I wanted to, I could make this whole tablecloth a little smaller and use it on my holiday table. This is a very special piece of fabric from a very special person, and I hope that she doesn't mind that I allow her fabric to live on in some projects I'm working on. So there's what that would look like, a little snowflake on that one. Let me see, did I put this on this one? So you can see what these are going to look like. They're going to have little snowflakes on them. I think they're going to be really, really cute. And then I used, so now we have this, and we'll stitch this on. And I have a little piece of, I use gold ribbon, but I think I'm going to change that out to a sari silk or something else. And I did stitch it on. So that remains to be seen. But yeah, I think I'm going to use something other than gold. So now if I pull my card back out here, you can see this is going to go on here. Look how cute that is with a little thing. And then I'll either leave that or not. And then somewhere on this terribly messy desk, I have a little tiny bow. And I think I'm going to make these bows a little different, but the idea is for me, I mean, I'm showing you a sample of a little tiny bow, but you can make a bow out of whatever you want. And I'm going to put a bow at the top of each one of those. Now, if you get a card from me, I should have mentioned in the beginning of the video, stop and don't watch this video because you're going to know what kind of card you're getting in the mail. But I think that these make one heck of a cute little Christmas card. This, I suppose you could, I'll stitch the bows on, I'll stitch the little snowflakes on. I may put some, I don't think I'm going to do that. I was going to put some little snowflake drawings, you know, little scattered snowflake things around the outside edge, but I think I'm going to leave it plain and white and let the ornament speak for itself. Now these are not intended to be taken off of the cards and used, but I mean, if the recipient wanted to do that, I suppose they could, and an easy way to do that would be simply to open the card, cut around that, and then it would come out with a paper, basically your card backing on it, which would be cute. So I think that's going to be my Christmas cards this year, and I think they're really cute. I'll come back. Hopefully I remember, because taking pictures at the end of things is not my forte, but I may come back and show you some of the other ones I make. Plus, I have not started my paper ones yet. And I know this is a stitch group, so, or most of you are stitchers that watch these videos. So I have, of course, like everyone, I have a I have a big bag of Christmas scrap papers that I've used. And so that I'm going to use these to create these little things. And instead of the fabric up here, I'm going to use scraps of paper and make them. And then I will glue those on. I won't use the batting. And those will be the paper ones. But I think these are really cute. I hope you enjoyed seeing what I'm suggesting or what I'm making here. But I'm having so much fun, and I have so much fun. And these little things, anytime you've got little things, you know, you can walk into your, you know, into the living room or your lounge room, TV room, and put a movie on and do this stitching. So what I'm trying to do now is I made a few of these just to see how they were going to turn out, and now I'm going to settle down and cover them all with my fabric. And since I'm mass making, I'm going to do this step next, this step here, and do my fabrics and my ribbons and my papers, and then I'm going to cut them out so that they're in this. If it's fabric or ribbon, I'm going to invisible stitch them, and then I will pick them up and finish the stitching on them, and then come back and do the snowflakes and what have you there. What have you there? I'm missing my other snowflake. What did I do with my other snowflake? Is it sticking to me? That happens. That happens a lot in my craft room. I don't know, but you get the idea. And these are going to sit. How cute. I just love them. So now you know. Template, batting, fabric or ribbon or paper. Stitch, stitch, stitch. Add your elements. All of them maybe won't be this pattern of running stitch. I might do some of them differently, which I'm sure I will. My paper ones probably will not have stitching on them, which makes me sad, but. And then when these are all done, find some snowflakes. You can find them lots of places. Even if it's fabric with a little flower shape that looks in a circle, you could use it and put your snowflakes on if you like them, and a ribbon at the top, maybe a bow, and you're on your way to making some beautiful cards, or just some Christmas ornaments. If I was doing them for Christmas ornaments, I would, of course, because I'm me, I would put fabric on the back. And on these ribbon ones, I should probably share with you that. Did I do it on this one? No, you see, I didn't do it on this one. So I'll show you one that I did and one. Okay. When I first did the ribbon, it was difficult to keep the ribbon in place while I was stitching it. So I did go to the sewing machine, and I zigzag stitch just around in circles to hold the ribbon down. I used surprisingly a light gray thread, and so it barely shows. But I decided, why am I doing that? I don't think I need to do that. Just put the ribbon down and then start stitching it. So you can see on this one, I didn't do that. I just stitched. So invisible stitch, running stitch, worked great with the ribbon. So I knew it would work good with the fabric. Excuse me. So there we have it. Let's see what this looks like on that. It's going to look so cute. I think those are very cute. So that's what I'm making. I hope to come back. Maybe I'll have some photos for you toward the end of my project. I don't know how long it'll take me to make as many as cards as I send, but it'll take me a little while. And I'll see about coming back. If I don't get the pictures up on YouTube, I'll try to get some up on Instagram. And I hope you like this idea. I hope you use it. When I saw it at Bluebell Hill Crafts, I was just taken with hers, and I certainly made them way different than hers, but I think you'll have loads of fun. Small little project. If you have grandchildren or children of young age who you want to start into the stitching world, what better way than with a little craft project that makes a little ornament, and I would make them as ornaments then and let them hang them on the tree. So with that, I will let you go. Start your day or finish your day wherever you're at in your day. And I hope you enjoyed the video. Please have a great day. Do something you love. And until the next time.